This is the HO100 by SMSL, and this is quickly becoming my favorite budget headphone amplifier. The HO100 is a budget-friendly, no-frills headphone amplifier. It is absolutely about one thing: quality. And when I say no frills, I mean it. It's a classic all-aluminum frame with a beautiful glass bezel, but it only has your basic controls on the front panel. Those include 3 toggle switches to switch your amplifier on and off, switch between your XLR and RCA inputs, as well as a high, mid, and low gain selector. You also have your headphone outputs, a 4.4mm balanced output, and a 1/4 inch unbalanced out, which should have you covered for most types of headphones that you'll be using with this amplifier. And finally, it has a volume knob on the right hand side. Now when you turn it around, you aren't going to see much. In fact, all you're going to see is the XLR balanced inputs and your unbalanced RCA, along with the IEC jack for your power cord. And they have all of this in a small compact case. In fact, it's only about 5 inches long by 6 inches wide and only 1.5 inches tall, and only weighs about 1.23 pounds. Now, although I said this is a no frills, remember I said this amplifier is all about quality. And you start to see the attention and care that they put into this amplifier as soon as you start to use it. In fact, it's very clear they didn't cheap out on the materials like so many companies are doing nowadays. For the first time I picked it up, you could tell that this unit was solid. The all-aluminum exterior was robust for its size and weight. In fact, the overall build quality is exactly what I would expect from SMSL's higher end line, not this one. In fact, it's the same fit and finish as their much more expensive HO200. The toggle switches are nice and rigid with that thunk that you like to hear from the good quality toggles. They have all gold finishes on the inputs and outputs, and even the volume control is very smooth without any type of hesitation. Honestly, the switches and knobs feel exactly like they do on their higher end units. They did not cheap out on these, and that is very nice to see. I was also very surprised to see that they included a built-in power supply, so you don't have that bulky power supply hanging out on your desk, just a simple power cord that you can plug into the wall. Now, this makes for a much cleaner install, and thankfully, with the power supply built in, you don't have to wonder if you're going to get a noisy power adapter, making this much more likely to sound just like SMSL intended. The HO100 also packs quite a punch for its size. It can deliver 3 watts of power into 16 ohm headphones, or about 1.5 watts into 32 ohm headphones, which is going to be about half the wattage that you're going to see on a higher end headphone amplifier, something like the HO200. However, in this type of price range, which is about $150, I think this is exactly what you should expect. And honestly, in this price range, you're most likely going to be using these with some lower impedance headphones. And it's those headphones that this type of headphone amplifier is specifically tailored for. And during my testing, I didn't have any issues driving my headphones to more than adequate levels. It is important to note that although it does have the fit and finish and look of a high-end amplifier, the most important thing of any headphone amplifier is its sound quality. And although I know SMSL makes some high-quality gear, I wasn't expecting the sound quality that I got out of this amplifier. Not only did this headphone amplifier exceed my expectations on sound quality, it sounded just as good as its bigger brother, the HO200. It was crisp, it was clear, it was very neutral. It didn't add any bass or treble like some of the cheaper headphone amplifiers do, but best of all, it was absolutely silent. When I say silent, the unit itself is obviously silent as it's all solid state with no fans. So the operation of the unit itself is silent, but when I say silent, I'm talking about the distortion and the noise floor. The total harmonic distortion plus the noise is negative 123 decibels. That is well below human hearing. But if you want to visualize that as a percentage, it's 0.00006%. That's 4 zeros. That is astronomically low, and a lot lower than I would ever expect at a headphone amplifier at this price range. And this absolutely made a huge impact when listening to music during those silent scenes. Instead of hearing a hiss or a noise that wasn't there, I heard nothing. Silence. And that's exactly what I want to hear from my headphone amplifier. And I definitely was not expecting that at this price range. Now, it's one thing for me to tell you this, but it would be nice to back it up with some measurements. Unfortunately, I don't have access to be able to measure this myself, But one thing that I do really appreciate about SMSL is they do provide the measurements for you. When we take a look at their measurements, we see the frequency response from 20 Hertz all the way up to 100 kilohertz. And that frequency response is completely linear. I mean, that explains why this amplifier is so great at reproducing exactly what the artist had intended. And it's also why I probably really enjoy it. Now, it's rather obvious I love the sound quality and the fit and finish of this amplifier. That doesn't mean that I love everything. There are some cons to this headphone amplifier. For example, when we look at the HO200, its bigger brother, you'll notice that you're actually getting some balanced and unbalanced outputs. This allows you to hook up something like powered desktop speakers or even a different amplifier to the back of this, allowing you to simply toggle between your headphones and your speakers with a flip of the switch. The less expensive alternative, the HO100, it doesn't have any type of outputs like that. So this is truly just a headphone amplifier. And that's not really a problem as long as you understand what you're getting. Now this is probably a first for me because I don't really have anything negative to say about this amplifier. Honestly, it blew away all my expectations and it has become my favorite budget headphone amplifier. It is a highly recommend. In fact, if you're looking for a headphone amplifier in the $150 range, I wouldn't look any further. I just don't see you being able to get anything better than this at this price range. Having said that, if you do need some more outputs, and look at some of my other reviews where I looked at a few other headphone amplifiers that do have those, including the SMSL HO200. Now it's time to figure out exactly where to place this on my list. I'm going to place it right below the SMSL HO200. Mainly due to the fact that it doesn't have any RCA or XLR outputs and it's lower wattage. However, it does have the size advantage if you need that smaller form factor. And if you don't need the wattage and you don't need the outputs, then I would absolutely buy the HO100 over the HO200. Now, if you enjoyed this review, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to ring that bell. Don't forget to like this video. This is Toyd's DIY Audio, and I'm out.